Good morning. This is Tennis Minutes, and I want to be able to show you a few things this morning. In the background, I have what's called the volley board. It's laying against a couch slanted at a 45-degree angle so I can practice some volleys. I also have up on top a fan with some towels around, and I'm going to practice just pushing those. I have a sore arm. It's at 80% right now, but it was at 0%, but it's really getting better. So I practice left-handed and right-handed in both. So I didn't want surgery on my right arm, so I've been trying to get that moving for about 8 months now, 9 months. And arm's doing pretty good. Built up a lot of muscle and strength in my right arm again, so I'm thankful for that. I also have down here is another stand, and here has wheels on it. I don't know if you can see it right now, but it has wheels on it. On this device, I can practice. Let me see if I can practice. I can practice going over the ball, topspin, or I can practice going under the ball. Here on top, I have this tennis ball on a spring that I can just practice hitting shoulder to shoulder, okay? A lot of times people hitting down on their ground strokes in the baseline and don't realize you need to hit straight out and gravity brings it down, okay? And so here I also have another thing here. I'm hoping that you can see it. I have a racket here with some rubber bands on it, and I'm going to put some more on it. And the reason I'm doing this is it's going to help me hear the acceleration, and a lot of times people are trying to hit harder. Instead of being looser, you see a lot, I watched a bunch, 8 young people, and a couple of them had a real loose motion, but most of them were trying to muscle the ball so hard, and I can imagine, they're already hitting the ball hard, and they're muscling it, and I just said, wow, just think if they were just real loose and what would happen. And so this is going to help me. I have all these rubber bands on here, and as I swing it, you're going to hear the noise, and you're going to hear it, and so I'll give you a demonstration, and so you're going to hear it. You're going to hear that motion, hear that sound. And so I'm using an old T2000. I like to go to stores and buy old rackets and practice with them. And so this year I'm going to get a couple modern rackets. I had a Clash last year. I liked it pretty much, but one of my students liked it even more, so I sold it to him. He got a real good deal. I gave it to him for $160. That's a pretty good deal. And so I already used it for about a month or so, and so I wanted to make sure that he had a good deal. And so I used the Pro Staff, the new Pro Staffs, and sold those for $150 after I used them for a month. And so this is just a kind of old T2000, just loved rackets, okay? And you can pick them up thrift stores or garage sales. And so you can hear that noise. You hear that noise? And so the idea is that you have some consistent way of practicing. And so here, I'm up here, if you can, I'm going to get on my knees, and I'm just going to practice pushing that fan around and just pushing that here. This is actually a very difficult thing for me right now because my arm gets real sore real easy. And so because I'm not used to having hitting over my head, this hurts right now, but it's getting stronger, so it's going to come around. Every day I exercise. I do a lot of exercising, some weight training, and so I spend a lot of time, at my job lifting, so I want to make sure I don't ruin my arms. And so here I practice. On my job I do a lot of training, and so I have to lift a lot of boxes and I teach people how to lift. And so I'm practicing, and I do both right-handed and left-handed. And so I'm going to practice, and I'm just pushing it, and I'm just practicing. And this is going to help me keep my head up. I notice even young players, they're hitting down on the ball. And you have to learn how to hit up on the ball. And so it's a great way of practicing in your home. And so I want to encourage you to find ways to practice, be creative, and have some kind of practice routine. And so, of course, I'm going to do this right-handed. And then when I'm going to switch, I'm going to do it left-handed, and that'll help also. And like I said before, I have this other device here with wheels on it, and I got to set it up here first. And so it's a great way of practicing, topspin, or at the same time, over underspin. So I'm going to practice, and I just practice like this, and I get that wheel spinning, and I just feel touch. I got an old tennis racket, and field tennis rackets. This is old Jack Kramer Pro Staff, and it has gut in it. It's really nice feeling. If you ever never had a chance to play with gut, it was just a great feeling. We used to say, don't get it wet, And but we used to love to play with this back in when I first started. Wood rackets with gut in it, and they were expensive at that time. And and I know they have a lot of different strings, but I'll tell you, I just still like that gut feeling. Okay, it's just amazing feeling when you're playing, and right before you break it, it's the best. It seems like it's the best. And so here, I'm practicing just lifting the ball, practicing topspin. I can place this high or low, and a lot of times I like to stand up and hit, or I like to get my knees, and so I practice hitting those low balls. And so I do it on this side. I can also turn it on this side, and then I practice on this side. I practice my left hand. Now, if you can see it on this side, I bring the wheel around, and I just practice on this side. And so I practice left-handed, and I also can practice that high ball like this, and some shoulder to shoulder. Remember, when you're hitting the baseline, you want to go shoulder to shoulder. Gravity's going to bring it down. You don't want to be falling through down. Okay, that's going to bring the ball down. And so you want to be going from shoulder to shoulder. And so another thing you can do with this is you practice going under. And so I can practice like going under the ball. And so here I'll use it this way, and I'm practicing going under. And I'm trying to still get the ball spinning, and I'm practicing going under this wheel and getting the wheel spinning. And that way, when I approach a shot, I can cut under the ball or approach the net. I can go under spin and then come to advance this net, split step, and then try to volley and move forward. I can do this both on forehand and backhand. And then the third thing another thing that I want to do this morning is I want to work on my volley board. Okay, and so it's good to have a good practice routine. And so I'm practicing here, and I'm practicing my volley board. And a lot of times I like to practice one hand like this. I like to practice left-handed, so I have a progression, short racket. I try to do it short. I try to do medium racket, and then the length of the racket. I try to do both. I try to do one hand like this, and then what I do is I do one, and then I do two, and then I do three with my opposite hand, like a left-handed backhand. So I do one here like this, one, and then I do two hands. It helps me turn my shoulders, and then I do one like this. There's a lot of drills that you can do when you're on the court, and you can practice catching the ball. You can practice tapping and hitting. You can practice one hand, two hands. These drills are all going to help you become a much better volleyer. And so I encourage you to learn, be creative. There's a lot of creative things on the internet. Try to think through, build up on someone else's ideas. Inventions are built upon another invention. So you cannot have, you wouldn't have a computer if you didn't have something else before that. And so you have to realize inventions, man's not, so smart that he can just create something out of nothing. He needs something to create, to make out of something that has been invented by someone else prior. That's material. You just don't have something come out of nothing. And so it's, we take what we have, what we've been given, and then we can be creative and build upon someone else's idea. And don't get so proud that you think you're the only one that discovered it. Someone else has discovered it, and then they improve upon it. And it's the only thing is, a lot of times people steal ideas from other people's. Give credit where they're, where you have an idea and then you improve upon an idea. And so I'm practicing my volleys, 45-degree angle. Okay, left hand, half racket. Okay, then I go full racket like this. I go one hand, I go two hands, and then I practice my backhand left-handed. And remember, always like a big mistake, a lot of people when they're volleying, is they only use one hand. They don't use that extra hand. And a lot of these people, a lot of girls, I'm noticing, and they're good players, they're using that real extreme Western grip, but when they volley, it seems like what's happening is they're good at volleying, okay? And they cut that ball really good, and they've got some good strength in their arms, but they're not changing their grip. They're not changing to a continental grip, using a continental grip, or change from forehand to backhand grips. They're just not doing that. And so I think that's going to limit them in the future. Perhaps they practice a lot, and that's great. And so I'm just surprised, And so it's just like I'm surprised by how many times I see these young people. They're just muscling the ball. They want to, beat someone right off the court. They want to run them right off the court, and yet, they have so much power if they were loose. Like a baseball player trying to hit a home run, he's not going to get more power by being tight and clenching the bat. He's going to be more powerful by being loose. And so it's important to realize that you have to be loose. Your face all the way down to your arms, to your body, trying to get loose and not be tight. We all been in a situation where we tighten up and we miss the ball or we don't hit it hard enough, and so you want to stay loose, okay? And so here I'm practicing volleys, And so it's a great way to practice. In the volley boards, I can do it both sides. And I can just turn, I like to do left-handed here, and I practice one here like this, one, okay? Then I do two, and then I do three. Just do it on the opposite side. So whatever you do on one side, practice the other side. So you're having balance in your body. When you're sitting at a typewriter and you're typing, or you're at a computer and you're typing all the time and you sit in the same position, you're going to have that repetitive motion. That repetitive motion is going to hurt you. So try to use both right-handed and left-handed. Try to adjust your you know, where you're sitting, your arms, and try to do it properly. And then sitting in one doing it one way and finding out you have an injury because you have repetitive motion injuries. So this is all just ideas from acceleration with the racket rubber bands to the fan to the volley board, or to the wheels here that have wheels, and I just practice getting those spinning. I hope this helped you to be creative too.